I wanted to make another video of using our Pygame window to get text input rather than having to use the idle screen. So all I have here so far is a very simple Pygame program. And you can see that we have some sort of text that's getting rendered, and that text is being blitted to the screen. The text that's getting rendered is this variable called name, and at the start I'm just saying that name is Josh. If I run this program, there we go. You can see it's just getting blitted to the screen right there. So one way we could get input through the idle window before our Pygame window opens is if we just move this line of code. As long as we get our input before pygame.init, then we will be able to use the idle window. So for example, name equals input, what is your name? So if I run it, you'll see it says what is your name, and our Pygame window hasn't opened yet. And if I type Joshua this time and hit enter and bring over my Pygame window, you can see Joshua has actually come up. But that feels a little bit clunky. So what we're going to do is I'm going to move this back up to here, and I'm just going to set the name to a blank string. Now the first thing we need to do down below is we need to check to see if the user has pressed any keys. So if pressing a key is a type of event that could happen. So this event is listening to all of the Pygame events that have happened. So we can say if event.type is Pygame and then key down with capital letters. So if the thing that happened is the kind of event where someone has pressed a key down, then what do we want to do? Well, first we can check and just print to our idle window whatever key happened to have gotten pressed. And the way we can do that is we can just say print and then event.key. So here's our window. It doesn't say much right now, but if I press an A key in here, for example, there's the A key. It printed a 97. Here's the number 4, G, and then as I'm pressing keys, there I press backspace, enter, escape. You can see it's telling me which keys are being pressed on the keyboard. Okay, so there's one way to check to see which key has gotten pressed. I'm going to comment that out because we don't really need that. So what we want to do is we want to say, all right, if we press a key, then we want that key that's been pressed to be added onto the string called name. The way we can do that is name plus equals, because we want to add on to the string, pygame.key.name, the name of the key, event.key. So the key that caused the event, that key's name, we're going to add it on to the name. So you can see I pressed A, so A is added on to the string. A 3, a 4, a D. I hit enter and return shows up, backspace, escape. And now, like, as I keep pressing backspace, I would rather actually delete some characters here. But all we're doing is whatever key gets pressed, I'm going to add that key's name into my string. But we don't want just any key that we press to be added to our name, right? We only want letters, probably. So let's limit what we can actually enter into our name. So to look up what key gets what value, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back into idle here, and I'm going to type in help, and then put Pygame in brackets. And when I hit enter, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that comes up on the screen. So here is my long list of stuff from the help file for Pygame. And all I care about is right near the bottom. See, we have these keys here. So key A is a 97, and key Z is 122. And it's just the numbers in between there. So all I want to do is to be able to enter any keys from A to Z. So that's from 97 up to 122. So I'm going to go back to my code, and I only want to add the key that I press to my name as long as it fits within those parameters. So if event.key is greater than or equal to 97, so if I press an A and event.key is less than or equal to 122, so anywhere from A up to Z, then go ahead and add it in to my name. So we'll run it again. And I'm pressing some letters, but now I'm pressing numbers and nothing's happening. Pressing backspace, enter, escape, nothing's happening. But as I press letters, you can see they get added into the name. But we want to be able to erase this with backspace. Okay, so what I need to do then is say, all right, if I press backspace, then erase the last letter off of the name. So here I'll put LF. So if we press backspace instead, and instead of referring to backspace's number, we can actually refer to that key itself as well. So if event.key is pygame.k_backspace, capital letters, you can go back to this page and look it up if you want to. And here it is right here, backspace, which is number 8. So if we press the backspace key, then what we want to do is we want to take the last letter off of our name. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to set the value of name, everything from the start, the first letter, all the way up to the second last letter. So first of all, what if backspace is the first key that we press? We don't want to just start erasing when there is no value in our name at all, right? So what we're going to say is only erase if there's some length to our name. So if the length of the name is bigger than 0, as long as there's some letters in your name, then we're going to say name is, and here's just a new way of putting it for you. We're going to go 0:(-1). Now what this means is the name string is going to be what the string is, and these are indices for our name. Remember, 0 is the very first character in our name. So for example, if I were to have the name Joshua, and then I accidentally hit a K at the end of it, let's say. This is letter 0, this is letter 1, this is letter 2, and the way we can get to the very last letter is using -1 as the index. And so this says that name is now the name string from the start up to the end, not including the last letter. Okay, so that means it goes from here all the way up to this last position. So all the way up to the last position. So our name will now be Joshua, but without including the very last character. Let's test it out. So if I start typing Joshua, hit a K by accident. Now if I hit backspace, you can see it has erased the K. We can erase the A. We can go all the way back. But anything before the J, I'm still hitting backspace. It's not giving me an error. It's not erasing anything else there. And I can start typing and I can start hitting backspace again. Now let's say you want the user to be able to enter a space into their name, because so far we only have letters, right? So the only thing we need to do for that is consider the space case. So if event.key is pygame.k_space, so if we press the space key, then we can say name plus equals quotation marks with a space in between them. Add a space to the name. Let's run this again, and I'll start typing my name, Josh space Pollock space space space, and then some other letters. And as we erase, you can see it's erasing spaces, it's erasing all of it. As an introduction to your game, you might want to be able to get the person's name, and then maybe you want them to be able to press enter so that we go on to the game itself and their name has been entered. Well, that's easy to do as well. So we'll say lf event.key is pygame. Now, instead of enter, it's called return. So k_return. So if they press the return key or the enter key, then I'm just going to use this to get out of my loop. We'll just say done is true, and therefore we'll be able to get out of our main loop. Run it again. We're going to type my name, it's Josh, and when I hit enter, you can see the window closes, and that's because I've jumped out of this main loop. So in your program, you'd probably come down to the bottom here and start the next loop, which will actually be your game, and you can use the person's name inside the game then. Now this only works with lowercase letters, so if you want to capitalize the first letter of the name, for example, you can just say name is name.capitalize, Remember, there's that string function to capitalize the first letter of any string. So if I run this then and I enter my name, I'm just typing lowercase stuff, but the first letter will always have to be capitalized. Doesn't matter what letter I pick, because we're capitalizing. Or maybe you just want the whole string to be uppercase letter, so you can just put upper. And now it doesn't matter what they type, all of the letters will be uppercase. And hopefully that can help you make your Pygame game a little bit more fun.